Hi, church family. Pastor Paul here. We're going to do something special this week. We're going to put all these devotionals right on YouTube for everybody to see. And if you want to share it with anyone, you can do that as well. Um, we are going to dive into those uh, points of forgiveness, the proofs of forgiveness that we talked about yesterday that guide us to see, have we really forgiven the person that has wrongfully harmed us? And so, without further ado, here we go. In the book of Hebrews, we read that look after each other so that none of you fails to receive the grace of God. Watch out that no poisonous root of bitterness grows up to trouble you, corrupting many. Notice what bitterness does when it is allowed to take root and grow. Number one, it causes trouble in our own lives. And then two, it corrupts many. It impacts not only myself, but it impacts my family, my extended family. It impacts my friends and those that I work with, those that I attend church with. Bitterness is not a one-man show. It shows us that sin is never private. Sin impacts all of us at any given time. So, how does Joseph teach us to forgive others? What's his proof today? Well, his proof today, number one, is forgetting the past while focusing on the future. Well, how did he do that? Well, when he came back from prison, when he was promoted to be prime minister, the Pharaoh gave him his daughter. And his daughter and him had two sons. The first one was named Manasseh, right there in Genesis 41:51. Manasseh means God has caused me to forget. All the prisons, everything he went through, God caused him to forget. Now, let's be realistic. That doesn't mean those memories never come up again. But two things didn't happen anymore in Joseph's life. Number one, he didn't harbor those ill feelings towards his brother. And number two, he didn't replay the tape in his mind or to others about what his brothers did. God caused him to forget. But the second thing that he did is he gave him another son named Ephraim, which means God caused him to be fruitful. And we know what happened. Joseph not only saved the nation of Egypt, not only the nation of Israel, but the whole entire known world at that time by causing Joseph to be fruitful and wise. What about us? What's it mean? Well, Joseph basically said, I refuse to live in the past anymore. All the injuries by my brothers, the days in prison in that dungeon, I choose not to live there anymore. See, there's a cultural theory out there that says if someone's harmed me, someone's done me wrong, then by golly, somebody owes me something. But here's what Joseph is telling every generation from him to today present. And this is a quote by Erwin Lutzer. He says, I refuse to allow the past to be the prism through which I view all events that continue to color and destroy any hope of being fruitful in the present or the future. I love that quote. Is we will not allow bitterness to take root. We're going to dig down, we're going to get below the surface, and we're going to pull that thing out, roots and all. So practically, how do we do that? Two things today. Number one, ask God for a Manasseh. Many, if not all of you, have a child, a grandchild, a great-grandchild. You have Manassehs in your midst that you can invest your life into them. As Joseph realized he needed to forget about what was in the past and move and focus on what was in the future by investing in the present with his kids. You have a Manasseh. If you can't think of one, ask God to give you one. Who knows? It might be that caregiver there in Acacia or Desert Willow, or it might be one of the staff members. You have a Manasseh. Ask God for that. And then ask God to bear fruit through you. God takes delight in this prayer. He wants to bear fruit through us. But when we hold on to unforgiveness and that root of bitterness goes up, it squelches any fruit bearing. Remember what we said yesterday? Uh, we can't have bitterness and faith coexisting. Those two things are not the same. We cannot coexist with those things. Either we're going to trust God to take care of justice, or we're going to take things in our own hands and remain bitter. So ask God for a Manasseh, someone to invest, and then ask God to bear fruit in that relationship. Okay? And for the past, while remembering and focusing on the future. I'll see you soon. God bless you. Take care.